A very good morning and welcome all of you to this daily news analysis with me, Jatin Verma, for 16th of January 2025. I hope audio, video, everything is clear today so that we can begin with quickly. So guys, these are the news articles that we are going to see in today's news analysis. Finally, before the Donald Trump takes over as the president of the USA, a good news has come in thanks to the Donald Trump phenomena only. That is, in Qatar, under the mediation of Qatar, Israel and Hamas have agreed to end the 15-month long war and arrive at a ceasefire. This is going to be the news of importance for today. Then new US AI export rules. Artificial intelligence, as we all know that USA is the leader in research and development. So artificial technologies developed in USA could be imported to India or could be exported by the US companies to India only on the basis of the new AI export rules. It excludes India and China from the benefits of the closest allies of the USA. The benefits that have been given to the closest allies of the USA have not been given to India, despite India being a strategic partner of the US. India has been kept in list 2. Okay, so this is there. Then how to diagnose obesity. Lancet, a British journal, a British magazine on the medicine phenomena, has devised a new criteria for measuring obesity. As we all know, many of you would be knowing that until now we were using body mass index as the criteria, but they have now suggested a new criteria. So we will go into this also. This is going to be of importance to India because of increasing obesity and the resultant diabetes in India, increasing cases of diabetes. As we all know that diabetes is considered to be, India is considered to be the diabetic capital of the world because of increasing number of diabetes cases, and one of the most important reasons behind diabetes is obesity. Now, the news from the defense side, INS Surat, INS Nilgiri and Vaghshree, they have been commissioned by the Prime Minister of India. 3 cheers to Indian Navy. So three new, you can say, the weapons in the arsenal of Indian Navy. So we are going to dig deeper into these details, their technical specification, facts related to these three INS that India has commissioned. We are going to see those things also. Now, Kashi Tamil Sangamam 3.0 to focus on Agasthyar's philosophy. Art and culture, a bit of art and culture will also be there. Then Supreme Court pulls up Enforcement Directorate for saying rigours of bail apply equally to women. So this is a bit factual but not of much interest. Still we will go into this. Economy, investment in renewables to quadruple by FY between the financial year 2025 and financial year 30. From 2025 till 2030, CRISIL says that investment in the renewable energies in India, be it EVs, etc., okay, renewable energy will quadruple to 19 lakh crore rupees. Economy, exports dipped 1% in December. So, considering this to be a part of the overall phenomena of slowdown in economy, exports emanating from Indian soil have dipped by even if 1%. But this is the part of the larger phenomena that we are witnessing. GST collections, net direct tax collections, then gold imports. We have been seeing the news after news with regard to recessionary trends in the Indian economy. So this particular small clipping feeds into that phenomena. Then this also leads us to how India's production linked incentive scheme is performing. Since these are merchandise trades, I mean goods that are witnessing a kind of slowdown, how is this PLI, how does this reflect on the production linked incentive scheme launched by the government of India? So let's get started with the news articles. Biden administration on its way out. As you see that Biden administration is just for another 4-5 days. They have proposed to create 3 tiers of countries with specific restrictions on the exports of AI chips and GPUs. If you are clear about generalized system of preferences for trade, for customs duty, okay, for general items, USA has got a system which is called as generalized system of preferences to give preference to certain trading partners of the USA. This is with regard to US trade representatives. On the similar lines, not identical, on the similar lines, USA has come up with a 3-tier criteria to divide countries in these 3 segments, on the basis of which some preferential treatment would be given to its closest allies, then intermediary countries in which India is also kept, then the 3rd tier, complete restrictions. In this bracket, Russia and China have been kept. Because artificial intelligence technologies are going to guide the performance or development trajectory of countries going forward, it is important for the US to restrict the supply of artificial intelligence technologies to its closest allies. So that is why Australia, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Japan, the Netherlands, New Zealand, they have been kept in tier 1, that is countries without any restrictions. Australia is also there, but India is conspicuous by its absence. India is completely absent from this. In the 2nd tier, countries with limit on import of computing power. That means whatever is the power of our supercomputer or computing power, based upon that, this AI technologies would be given to India, exported to India at a price. It is not about free things. They are not giving doles to us. They are not giving any kind of free thing to us. We are going to pay for it. Despite that, there will be limit on the import of AI technologies to India based on India's computing power. That means AI technologies, if they exceed the existing computing power of India, then they won't be supplied. AI technologies within the computing power that India already has, those computing power technologies would be provided to India. Got it? So that India does not develop further. It should remain dependent on the US. Got it? So this is the division. Now, regulatory framework has been carved out on the export of artificial intelligence hardware such as graphics processing units. So what are GPUs? Write down its full form, graphics processing units, which could have far-reaching consequences for India's AI ambitions. India's artificial intelligence ambitions would now be curtailed thanks to these new AI rules. Right? So while leaving the administration, Joe Biden is trying to create an impression that he was also a better option than Donald Trump, but he did not contest elections. Okay, so this kind of a small thing is there. Now, the rule seems intended to keep advanced chips and AI models under the control of USA. No, if these technologies would have been supplied to India, graphics processing units, etc., they would have led to advancements in the field of weather forecasting, aerosols forecasting in the atmosphere, climate predictions, right? But many other things, satellite trajectory, etc., etc. Now that they have been denied to India, India has been kept in the 2nd category. Now, the vast majority of the countries in the world, including India, are in this category. Around 50,000 advanced technology chips through 2027 can be imported. So this was a small news. Special provisions for India, China. The US regulations on AI also envision a special review called General Validated End User. General, again the vocabulary the glossary is important here. General Validated End User. This list includes only 2 countries, India and China. Important for prelims? Yes. How many countries are included? This could be phrased in various manners, but various ways the UPSC could phrase this, rephrase this, or present this. Okay. Yes, that is why I said graphics processing unit can be used for weather forecasting and for 3D modeling of a satellite trajectory, etc. Before writing this word here, I have to read the background so as to enable you to understand. Okay, so this thing is there. Indian companies that get this authorization can use exported items for civilian and military purpose. Indian companies, what will be the repercussions? Imagine this to be option A in the UPSC prelims, let's say, or practice question. Option B, can Indian companies that get this authorization use the exported item for civilian and military purposes? Yes, but not for nuclear purposes. Okay. Now, what is the repercussion on China? If China is kept under general validated, means this general validation clause would restrict the usage, whether it can be used for civilian purpose, yes sir, okay, whether it can be used for military purpose, yes, okay, can it be used for nuclear, no. So while supplying these kind of technologies to India and China, validation would be check marked in this manner, or it would be crossed in this manner for things like nuclear. Memorize these things here and now itself, make quick notes out of them so that you take this concept once and for all. Now, criticism of the rules. Again, the rules have been drafted in a secret and without proper legislative review. The US Congress did not review them. These are the sole preserve of the president's authority. Now, it would impose bureaucratic control over how America's leading semiconductors, computers, systems, and even softwares are designed and marketed globally. Rather than mitigate any threat, the new rules would only weaken America's global competitiveness, undermining innovation. Okay, so this could backfire on America itself, because China and Russia and other countries advancing in this field, in the AI field, are leading to these kind of technologies being non-restrictive. That means the technology that is being exported by India from, let's say, Japan or from, let's say, Germany, there would be no restrictions on it. So India would prefer Germany instead of USA. That is why export competitiveness of US AI technologies would go down. We would prefer Germany or Japan, that is the countries which supply this technology with no restriction to us. No restriction. If there are restrictions on the item supplied by USA, why would we buy it from USA? Got it? It would backfire on the US itself. Sorry. Now, another news article, the Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology Commission. There are various commissions, like in a hospital, like in a research institute, there are commissions, there are departments. So this Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology Commission, a group of 58 leading scientists and experts, they have proposed new criteria to defining obesity. Until now, obesity was weight of your body, height, multiplied by each other and arriving at BMI. Okay, body mass index. Your weight should be commensurate to your body's weight, should be commensurate to the height of a person. But now the strength of the bone, the criteria that the Lancet has devised, will take into account the bone mass also. Okay, so this is the criteria that we use now. If the body mass index is below 18.5, a person is considered to be underweight. That means a person's height is more than his required weight, or a person's weight is less than his height. 18.5 to 24.9, healthy weight. This is considered to be in range. This is the range which is considered to be healthy. A person's body mass index should be within this range. 25 to 30, let's say 29.9 is 30, overweight. 30 and above is considered to be an obese person, obesity. Pardon me. These days are very hectic for me. I have to get up at 5 a.m. and have to sit in the interview from 10 a.m. onwards till 5:30 or 6 in the evening, 5:30 probably. Okay, so UPSC guys who are going to appear in the interviews, mock interviews are happening at PW only IAS, just for the information. That is why sometimes coughing and all, sometimes getting late by 5-10 minutes. Pardon me for that. We'll bounce back on the stipulated time after 2-3 days. BMI is a helpful screening tool for identifying people who might have obesity, but experts suggest it shouldn't be the sole method. BMI though is a helpful tool for screening people. Screening, what do we mean by screening? Screening is basic screening. Okay, somebody is eligible, somebody is not. Okay, somebody is within the range. Somebody who falls, let's say, within this range should go for further diagnostics, further diagnosis. Okay, let's say when the doctor says you have cough or something, you go for basic test, coughing or something, sputum test, etc. But if the further investigations are required, then they go for blood test, etc. Right? Similarly, here preliminary screening could be done by BMI. But to arrive at a conclusion that yes, a person is really obese and is in the threat zone, they have carved out a new method, confirming obesity by assessing excess body fat and how it's distributed, how this excess body fat is distributed in the body. For example, a person's weight might be more, but it could be because of the strength of the bones, for which a new test, DEXA scan, which already happens for checking the bones strength, whether the bones of a person, the skeleton of a person is fragile or is person is prone to fractures. A procedure, what is DEXA scan? A procedure that measures the amount of calcium and other minerals in a body, in a bone, by passing X-rays. Which rays? X-rays. DEXA scan could be important now thanks to the advent of this new study or new methodology to capture obesity in a person. Got it? Combining BMI with at least one body size measurement such as waist circumference. Waist circumference could be used, waist to hip ratio. If the person's waist size is less than the size of the hips, or there would be a ratio that would be arrived at, ideal ratio, waist to hip ratio. If a person's waist to hip ratio exceeds that ideal ratio, then that person could be considered to be really obese. Solely relying on BMI is not a good approach, is what Lancet is saying. Got it? Using direct body fat assessment, like Virat Kohli goes for this fat test. DEXA scans for a more accurate. This could be a strategy. What does DEXA scan do? It investigates or measures the amount of calcium in the bone of a person, in the particular bone, so as to check its fragility. DEXA scan shows the strength and thickness of a bone and is usually done in the lower spine, hip, lower arm, wrist, fingers and heel. Got it? It could be dual energy. Yes, this is the full form of it. Dual energy. Why dual energy X-ray? Why dual energy? Because you read here, by passing DEXA with two different energy levels. Dual energy, two different energy levels. That is why dual energy this is called. Got it? This is now the trigger factor. What is the trigger factor? Lancet Commission's recommendations to not use only BMI. This becomes the trigger factor for UPSC to ask DEXA. Was DEXA technique already there in our syllabus? Not mentioned, but yes, we are supposed to know basic biological techniques, X-ray techniques. Okay. She is trying to say पिछले साल, last year. Now, two new categories of obesity: clinical obesity, chronic systemic illness characterized by alterations in the functioning of tissues. Okay, clinical obesity and preclinical obesity. Here there is no, in the preclinical obesity, that means a person is having more weight. Here the tissues have not been altered. In the second case, tissues haven't yet seen a damage or haven't yet seen any alteration in the way they are supposed to function. But in the clinical obesity, because of the continuous obesity of a person, tissues have started to malfunction. Tissues have started to not function properly. That is why clinical obesity. Chronic systemic illness. That means the body's system has got prone to some malfunction. What is the system here? Functioning of your tissues, organs or individuals. Maybe fatty liver or something like that, right? Due to excessive or abnormal fat in the body, a person's tissues, let's say insulin has stopped working on breaking down of fat. This will go on increasing. Got it? If the liver of a person is not performing to the right level, if the insulin immunity has developed in the body, then clinical obesity. Diagnostic criteria for clinical obesity in adults, focusing on the central nervous system. Why central nervous system? Because central nervous system is something on whose command the tissues start to perform. है ना? So central nervous system, respiratory system, cardiovascular health, metabolism. Metabolism, as I said, ability to digest food, liver function, kidney, etc. We need to diagnose all these organs in order to check for, find out the reason for clinical obesity and give the precise medicine for that. Done. Preclinical obesity, condition where there is excess body fat but the tissues and organs are still functioning normally. Am I clear to everyone? Boring news articles, but they are important for UPSC's purpose. Okay guys, now coming to the defense, three frontline combatants: INS Nilgiri, INS Surat and INS Vaghshree. One by one, INS Nilgiri, lead ship for the Project 17A, Project 17A Stealth Frigate class. Stealth Frigate class. INS Surat, fourth and final ship of Project 15B, Stealth Destroyer class. Stealth Frigate class, destroyer. INS Vaghshree, sixth and final submarine of Scorpion class. Vaghshree, Scorpion class, destroyer class, Surat, then Nilgiri, frigate class. You have to memorize these in order for you to, crack the UPSC exam. These type of questions are increasingly being asked these days. Let me see if there is any comment worth answering. Okay, so these things are there. Now, moving further, INS Nilgiri, steel frigate built under the code name Project 17A, is a follow-on vessel of the Shivalik class. So, is it related to Shivalik class for prelims? Yes, this is related. Or Project 17 frigates that are currently in service. This is the INS Nilgiri that has been commissioned now, is the first of the 7 frigates in the Project 17A. Total 7 frigates are to be built. First one has been delivered by Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited. What is Mazagon Dock Builders? Is it a public company or a private company? Public sector company or a private sector? Please search on the internet and answer. Okay, so this is there. Then this is located in Mumbai. Then Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers, Kolkata. Again, is it a public sector company or a private sector company? Public or private? Please answer these type of small questions. These are India yearbook type of questions. As I keep on saying, at the later stage in your exam, you struggle with these things quite a lot. You are struggling all the time whether to cover this or not, how to cover this. Okay, so it's better to search for these details and read them then and there itself. Make notes out of them. Initially, guys, it will be very strenuous for you. It will seem like what a kind of untidy task are we doing. We are making notes day in and day out. But once you have memorized these things, it will become a cakewalk. If every day you are doing bit by bit, then at the end the story would be very beautiful. But if you are neglecting these details for a later stage, that stage will never come. Muskan, please research on it a little bit and then find out. I will make sure that my teammate, somebody will share these answers on Telegram with sufficient details so that your task is done. Telegram channel Jatin Verma PW only IAS. You can find the details over there. It has an integrated construction philosophy. What do we mean by integrated construction philosophy? When the hull of the ship is created, they are so big in task that we attach pieces to it. For example, I'm just making a simple drawing. Let's say these pieces are being combined together one after the other, because shipbuilding is a time-taking exercise, and one complete sheet of iron, imagine it to be there. It is not only iron, complex engine systems are there, propulsion systems are there. Okay, still I've just drawn it for your purpose. Let's say these pieces are being combined after 2 months or 3 months to give it the shape of a ship. Integrated construction philosophy means that this will have, if there is a problem in one part of the ship, entire system needs to be investigated. This is the problem with integrated philosophy. But what is the advantage? It involves extensive pre-outfitting at the block stages. These are the blocks to reduce overall building period. Right? So the terminologies again are there. Frigate. What do we mean by frigate? I have incorporated anything you can imagine. What, when, why, how. Just a minute. Frigate is a warship with a mixed armament. Mixed armament means aviation systems are also there. for the flights to take off or for the missiles to be fired directly on the target. Okay, then some systems for with submarine capabilities. Okay, that means submerging under the sea, those are also there. Firing missiles underneath the sea, if there is some pandubi, if there is some submarine by China trying to attack, that capability in the ship is also there, with the sonars, with the radars, having the capability to fire the missiles under the sea also. Okay, and sea to sea here also. That means mixed armament, air, naval, underneath sea also, right? Generally lighter than destroyer. So the other ship that we are going to see today is destroyer category. This is a frigate category. Now generally lighter than a destroyer. In the US Navy, they are very heavy. Destroyers are very heavy and of a kind originally introduced for convoy escort work. If there is a convoy of ONGC, or let's say convoy of some VIP going, so these type of frigates are used for acting as a pilot. Got it? Destroyers, they are a category of warships with high speed and maneuverability. What is the maneuverability? You can take left turn or right turn with a great quickness, with a very swiftness. Got it? That means maneuverability is ability to have these kind of seesaw movements, right? Greater strike capability. Destroyers have a greater strike capability than frigates and a longer endurance. They can survive, they can remain in the sea thanks to their fueling capacity, thanks to their engines overall power system. They can remain turned on, they can remain on voyaging for a longer period of time. Okay, then because of which they are a key asset in the offensive naval system. Frigates are more of defensive, destroyers are more of offensive. Got it? Third, okay, the last point here, with their modern sensors and communication facilities, destroyers are a key asset in the network centric warfare, in which information technology and computer networking tools are used. Network centric. So these defense destroyers are network centric. They are all time connected with the high speed internet, so that the command given to fire some rocket can be executed real time. There are no glitches whatsoever. Got it? So these things are there. Now coming back to the other details, keep on asking such questions. This helps you in the longer run, guys. What is the meaning of frigate? What is the meaning of destroyer? Trust me, I was supposed to ask these questions in the mock interview these days, because some of the candidates who are going to appear in the coming days, these with the launch of these INS Nilgiri, etc., these questions are highly likely to be asked in the UPSC final interview of those candidates. Now, features of INS Nilgiri: incorporates advanced stealth technology and reduced radar signatures, capable of operating various helicopters. Can it operate helicopters? Yes, including the newly introduced MH-60R, designed for enhanced survivability and sea keeping. Sea keeping means, let's say there is a threat of piracy. So these type of ships are used for, as we saw, acting as convoy, acting as escort convoy, right? Frigates. So INS Nilgiri can host the helicopters, helicopter landing and takeoff, etc., are taken care of. Technical specifications: fitted with a supersonic surface to surface missile system. Okay, a medium range surface to air missile system. As we saw that frigates can fire mixed type of weapons, so here is a medium range missile system, as we just saw here, medium range surface to air missile system. It is equipped with, INS Nilgiri is equipped with MRSAM system, right? The other 6 ships, total 7 are going to be there: Himgiri, Taragiri, Udaygiri, Dunagiri and Vindhyagiri are at various stages of construction at MDL Mumbai and GRSE. Now coming to INS Surat, first AI enabled warship. As we just saw the US news, the news related to AI restrictions by the USA, this two articles can be seen together. Now here see AI enabled warship, fourth and final stealth guided missile destroyer. Since it is a destroyer, we saw that network centric element is there. It has to be connected to internet, artificial intelligence commands, etc. So that is why the destroyers are more in need of AI technology. Now with the restrictions like that by USA, this work might get a little slower. Under Project 15B follows INS Vishakhapatnam, INS Mormugao and INS Imphal, which were commissioned over past 3 years. So these three have already been commissioned. INS Surat is the Indian Navy's first artificial intelligence enabled warship. Look at these details from the perspective of prelims. Okay. INS Surat, designed by Warship Design Bureau, Indian Navy's. What is Warship Design Bureau? Indian Navy's in-house warship design unit, and built by MDL, the same MDL which is working on Nilgiri. Powered by combined gas and gas propulsion set of 4 gas turbines. So it uses gas for propulsion for moving ahead. Now INS Surat, again specifications: guided missile destroyer. Fourth and final ship of the project, 15B, Vishakhapatnam class destroyers have already been commissioned now. Okay, now displacement: 7,400 tons of water could be displaced because of its heavy weight. Then length 164 meters, speed over 30 knots. That is 56 km per hour. Indigenous content 75% is Make in India. We had launched a mission which is called as Make in India in Defense. What is the status of Make in India in Defense? Defense means Navy, Air Force and Army. Okay. Now INS Vaghshree, sixth and final submarine of the modern stealth cavalry class, built under the Project 75. INS Vaghshree is built in collaboration with France. Okay. Now design, here see, Project 75 is an Indian project that is aimed at building 18 conventional submarines. Conventional means diesel. Okay. And 6 nuclear powered submarines for Indian Navy. Nuclear power submarines are also a part of Project 75. 75 is in collaboration with France. The design of Cavalry class of submarines is based on the Scorpion class, designed and developed by the French Defense Major Naval Group, formerly DCNS, and the Spanish state-owned entity Navantia. They have diesel electric transmission system and are primarily attack or hunter killer submarines. These are submarines which do not have to, okay, which have to come 75, Project 75 submarines. Okay, so they have to come to this, you can say the shore of the sea. They have to come to upwards of the sea so as to breathe, so as to exhaust whatever diesel exhaustion that is there, smoke that is there. But if built in the nuclear format, they are air independent propulsion system. That means the advantage of nuclear submarines is that they do not have to come to the top of the sea in order for them to take some air. Nuclear submarines can propel themselves without air, because nuclear reaction, once set in motion, does not require oxygen or air for that reaction to continue. For the continuous supply of energy, they are air independent nuclear reactions. So nuclear powered submarines, they do not require air time and again like the conventional submarines. These Project 75 submarines are going to be built in 2 formats, diesel as well as nuclear. Okay, diesel ones, they have lesser stealth capability. Nuclear submarine, the diesel submarines, they have lesser stealth capability. What do we mean by stealth capability? That means by remaining under the sea for a long period of time, they cannot be detected by radars of Chinese Navy or any other navy. But the diesel submarines, because they have to come up again and again to get some air for their engine to work, they are more prone to detection by enemy radars. Got it? Is this clear to everyone? Now, please remember this Vaghshree 18 plus 6. 18 diesel conventional submarines, 6 nuclear powered submarines in collaboration with French Navy. They have diesel electric transmission system and are primarily attack or hunter killer submarines, named after a type of sandfish found in the Indian Ocean. Vaghshree is the name of the sandfish found in the Indian Ocean. Vaghshree, it's among the most noiseless and adaptable diesel electric. How does a radar or sonar detect the submarines? Because of the noise. If they are making lesser noise as compared to other submarines, they are less prone to detection by the enemy navies, enemy armies, radars or sonar systems. Got it? In the world. Additionally, it has a displacement of massive 1565 tons. INS Vaghshree is designed to handle a wide range of missions including anti-surface warfare. Okay, from within the sea, this submarine can, let's say this is a submarine, it can fire some missile which can target the enemy missile on ground. That is anti-surface warfare. Anti-submarine, within the submarine to submarine fight is there. Let's say if this is a Chinese submarine, they can fire a missile or something to counter within the ocean, underneath the sea. If some submarine or enemy missile is there, they can counter that also by firing the missile at it. Got it? Then intelligence gathering, they can gather intelligence with regard to the assets, the underneath sea assets built by China, naval assets or anything, right? Then area surveillance and special operations. Okay, so these things are there. Now its modular construction allows for seamless future upgrades. Modular construction, so it is constructed in modules. Let's say this is module 1, module 2, module 3. Okay, if this module needs to be upgraded, this module can be taken out and replaced. Like a bridge, you see bridges are constructed in modules, piece by piece. So these submarines are also now built in module system. Okay, so this is there. Air independent propulsional technology, I have told you. Air independent means without further air being required, they can independently propel themselves. They can carry on the ignition, they can carry on the engine system without more air being required, for which they do not have to come upwards on the sea floor. Now, on the sea surface, INS Vaghshree designed to undertake a wide range of missions including anti-surface warfare, anti-submarine warfare, intelligence gathering. This is what we have covered already. Now, frigates and destroyers is also covered. Coming to this Kashi Tamil Sangamam 3.0 to focus on Agasthyar's philosophy. Just read it yourself. I have incorporated this art and culture thing. Mere reading is required. Okay, merely reading is required, nothing else is required. Now, coming to this other thing, SC pulls up ED for saying rigours of bail apply equally to women. Supreme Court of India has warned against legal arguments that ignore existing protections for women in bail cases. Specifically, now the Enforcement Directorate is the body within the Finance Ministry that looks after the implementation of Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Money laundering means whitening your money, okay, converting black money into white money. So this kind of a phenomena, when ED arrested a woman under the PMLA Act, that women had applied for bail on the grounds that she is a female. ED said that when bail could not be granted to men, how could the bail be granted to women? That means ED was saying that same rigors, same principles of bail would apply equally to women, and there would be no special privileges for women to be granted bail, right? Supreme Court emphasized that it will not accept interpretations of the law that disregard established legal safeguards for women. Got it? So extra protections that have been given by other laws, gender specific laws, have to be taken into account even if a woman happens to be the criminal, is what Supreme Court is saying. Now, view of the Supreme Court stated that submission by government went against the spirit of PMLA section 45(1). What is section 45 clause 1 of Prevention of Money Laundering Act? It allows courts to exempt women accused from rigors of bail clause. Okay, so this is an upshot of the judgment by the Supreme Court on validity of certain provisions under Prevention of Money Laundering Act. What is money laundering? The offense of money laundering is a heinous offense, as heinous offense as the offense of terrorism. Now, section 3 definition of money laundering is given. Just go through these things also. Very simple things. Money Laundering Act salient provisions. We will deal with the salient provisions of money laundering as and when something related to money laundering, specifically money laundering, comes up. Here we are talking about women specific clause. Can women be granted bail if arrested under PMLA? Yes. Now this is what Supreme Court is saying. ED does not agree. Okay, key provisions of PMLA, we have incorporated them in the slide. Download the PDF. It will be uploaded real time just after the DNA ends. Okay, so you can go through it. Any comments, anything? Okay, so these things are there. Now, investment in renewables. Are we supposed to read these type of news articles? Are we supposed to really read? See, CRISIL is saying that investment in renewables will jump 4 times, quadruple, 4x of what they are today. Renewable solar chips, etc., solar panels. Investment in renewable energy overall will quadruple. A research agency, CRISIL, is saying so. Are we supposed to read this too much? No. This is a kind of hypothetical scenario. Okay, so we are not supposed to read them in quite a detail. We are supposed to read what has already happened, but we should be knowing this statement, we should be knowing the context of it, and little bit reading is required. So Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, these things are there. Okay, just read it once or just be aware of the headline, that is enough for you. This is how we can be efficient in newspaper time reading. How we are supposed to bring down the reading time for newspaper? This is how we can bring down the newspaper time reading. Got it? Now, exports dipped 1% in December. Trade gap eased from November's record high. So, even though exports have dipped 1% to a fraction over $38 billion, while imports grew 4.9% to almost $60 billion. But this narrowed the merchandise trade deficit to a 3-month low. The trade deficit is imports minus exports is trade deficit, right? Because we are a country, India is an import-led country. India imports more than it is able to export, even if there is production-linked incentive scheme for exporters in electronics, in automotives, etc. Nonetheless, imports are nahin, jinka, even if you have economy as your optional, you are not supposed to read it much, right? Got it? Imports have also contracted. Imports have also gone down and exports have also gone down by 1%. Now, this narrowed the merchandise trade deficit to a 3-month low. Is this a good news? Yes. Merchandise means the products being manufactured in India, that and the products being manufactured outside. Import of those products and export of those products, the difference of the two has gone down. That means India has imported less and India has been able to export less. Therefore, the trade deficit has come down. But the fall in the exports is something to worry about. Right? Got it? So this is very simple. Now, short-term trend in gold imports. We have been reading about gold imports decline, increase in the gold imports thanks to the uncertainty surrounding the Donald Trump's victory. People, when they are uncertain, when the dollar is falling, gold imports, gold price will go up. This was witnessed in November. Gold prices were at a record level because there was uncertainty in the US, the largest economy of the world. Another concept out here, when the largest economy of the world is facing some uncertainty, is facing something, recession, etc., or some elections are going on, then people take a refuge in gold. People hedge in gold, right? So when Uncle Sam, the US economy, was facing uncertainty whether Donald Trump would come to power or something, what will happen, etc., then gold prices were high, and that is why gold imports in India in terms of monetary terms, in terms of overall rupees, we saw an increase in the gold imports, right? The center corrected that tally. There was a correction required because of ICE portal, the portal that links the export data and import data for customs department. If you are new to my daily news analysis, you can start watching from 9th of January. That is the day when we started doing the news analysis on this channel over here, right guys? So overall trend in trade on a year-on-year basis, December's trade deficit was 17% higher, while total trade deficit throughout the year is up 11.1% at $210 billion. As I told you that we are heavily dependent on imports for fueling our economy. Crude oil, ICE Gate portal, right? Thank you, Anshu. Okay, so ICE Gate portal, etc. These could be asked in the prelims exam. So we cover everything, background, etc. If you don't have sufficient time, go to the Telegram channel. At least read the PDF. Read through the PDF so as to have an idea as to what was discussed earlier. I am following a continuity approach. Continuity approach means something that was covered earlier would be so mentioned that you are able to revise it over here. Time and again, those terms, that terminology would be coming again and again. Got it? So this is their MCQs for 16th of January. Which of the following statements is or are correct regarding Kashi Tamil Sangamam 3.0? Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat initiative. Go through these options. For answers, visit the Telegram channel. As I have already mentioned at the beginning, Jatin Verma, PW only IAS is the name of the Telegram channel. Now, which of the following statements regarding India's Project 17A frigate is or are correct? Read carefully about Nilgiri, Vaghshree, okay, these submarines. Third question, which of the following statements regarding PMLA 2002 is or are correct? Facts have been incorporated in the PPT. We are not spending much time on the facts because those are something that you can read on your own. But questions will nonetheless be there because ultimately we have to be thorough with the details given on the slides. So this was all. Thank you guys. Bye-bye. And in a day or two from, let's say, next week onwards, Monday, we will incorporate one editorial every day. The most important editorial. And those editorials would be so covered that we see a bit of polity, we see a bit of economy, we see a bit of science and technology, and wherever relevant, wherever available, philosophical essay or editorials would also be picked up, right? This was all. PDF will be shared in a short while from now. Stay tuned on the Telegram channel, Jatin Verma sir, PW only IAS, English channel, that is there, Telegram channel. That is a channel dedicated to me. There I share tips, bits and pieces of information for you to streamline your UPSC preparation. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow around the same time. Bye-bye.